Hello and welcome back to Journey 3000. It's day 38. Let's jump right into it. We had a good day yesterday. Well, a little weird net down one rating point, but it was a good enough day, really, fundamentally. But hoping to gain some rating today. Searching for a game here. Things have been going alright once we get past the first 5 moves, so I'm going to pay extra attention to the first 5 moves. Now, knight c3, we play e6, d5. f4, we definitely play d5 here. And I believe my opening is to take the e-pawn. Right, and then we go knight here, bishop here. And I think we just have an okay position. Certainly got nothing to complain about. Fianchettos, we go bishop here, knight here. And our development is complete. Wouldn't you know it? I think if queen here, we go knight here right away and develop our bishop to here to threaten this. If like knight here, for example. But I think, yeah, this is definitely opening prep that I memorized. One of the first lines we studied, because it is an offshoot line that we're not even in the Sicilian yet, because he never played e4. But I don't know, white's not getting a particular advantage here. They really haven't claimed the center, and in order to claim the center, they have to give up their bishop. I say that, am I sure of that? Yeah, I'm kind of sure of that. What happens if they play d4 here? Well, they're not going to play d4 here, so thinking about completing development with bishop here and knight f6. It doesn't seem too controversial. A way to play. Also thinking about knight here right away with queen takes. Okay, so bishop e7, knight f6. How much does this really matter? This seems less risky, so I'm going to play that. But it also seems slower, but I have to get these pieces out of the way anyway, so both of them seem fine. Although now I'm a little bit uncertain with this move. Let's just play knight f6. I'm guessing knight here is going to come with takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes with check, queen here, knight takes with check, pawn takes. Why would the knight take with check there? Because the queen would be hanging. I don't know. Thinking we might have made a mistake with bishop here. Thinking maybe knight c6 right away is the correct move, but I don't think it's probably a big deal. It always is with these openings. It just seems like such a minor detail, but thinking knight c6 was correct, because then if he takes, I can develop directly to d3 and threaten this. He's also castled early, so I'm not sure. Maybe I should have spent more time on that. Just trying to have an edge on the clock, which usually goes well for me. Okay, now the thing is, knight here. We do have knight here. Bishop takes, knight takes. And I feel like we've gotten a move, haven't we? Maybe it's not anything spectacular for us, but doesn't seem too egregiously horrible. Okay, what's his plan here? So what if I just kick the knight? Is he going to sack? I guess. Probably should just castle here and then kick the knight. Seems like a better move. The problem with this position is that the center, I'm interpreting the center as being open, so his attacks not going to be so effective, especially after I kick this bishop or move this knight. Thinking about castling here. Doesn't really have a way to maneuver over yet. Okay. Pretty much fine with this. Gonna go ahead and kick the knight out. And perhaps start looking for a way to annoy this bishop. Does this seem like a comfortable square for him? I'm not so certain. But overall, not unhappy with the position as it is. And what queen here? Bishop here. He has to be careful of the checks. Let's start with queen here. Just open up some tricky ideas here. If he goes bishop here, I think we might go here. He has to go bishop back or takes, but does he really want to take here? Maybe. Maybe I'm also moving my queen away from this side of the board, but I don't know how effective my queen was on d1 protecting anything, so okay. Maybe something like knight here. Oh, this doesn't protect your bishop anymore. And he's in time. So what do I want to play here? What about pawn and then knight here? Hit the bishop again. Seems somewhat annoying. Also frees up space for this bishop to get on this diagonal, which seems favorable. Hitting the bishop, takes, and then bishop here. Maybe he's threatening this at some point, although we can always just leave it, I suspect. Okay. Thinking about just snapping the bishop right off, so let's go ahead and do that. Guessing knight takes is the whole reason, or maybe he's going to go queen takes. If queen takes, one of the rooks are going to move over. Maybe rook d1. It's always hard to tell, especially in this type of time control, which is correct. Okay, with the queen, we have perhaps here and here, and we're getting a lot of tempo moves in, and we keep our bishop pair. Although maybe in that case I'd move rook here so I can move rook back. Or bishop back, sorry. But is that really the direction I want to go in? Yeah, kinda. Keep the bishop pair. This is where I get checkmated and I'm like caught off guard, but I suspect. And I think we can go knight here just fine. Sorry, rook here just fine. And if queen here, maybe like bishop here. And then if he trades everything off, it's fine by me. Because I feel like we have some play against this backwards pawn. And I'm not sure he has a lot of play against our pieces. Might look awkward. We have to remember to move our bishop back, that's for sure. Don't want to forget that. Maybe bishop here, just to prevent this g-pawn from even moving. And then our queen pawn can support that. Yeah, I think I just want to get rid of the bishop here instead of even worrying about. It seems like a strong knight. I'm more than okay if he wants to trade that off. More than okay with that. He doesn't want to trade it off. Okay, what about knight here? Seems to let him in, unfortunately. Bishop here, on the other hand, seems to control this square. If he plays d6, I think we still control the square, maybe not. So what am I doing here? What's my overall goal in this position? Don't know quite yet. Knight here, again we looked at queen here. Gotta make this move not look like a waste. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just gonna make a move here though. Let's go bishop here. Maybe there's something awkward with like knight here, and then this is hanging now. Although I do always have this check. And if this knight moves, maybe I swing in here comfortably. I'm guessing he's gonna go knight here. King takes. Well, after that his rook is hanging, so I don't think he has quite enough time to coordinate anything meaningful here. In fact, if knight moves, we do have this as well. Something to consider. And then now maybe queen here to go ahead and put pressure on this pawn. Maybe just avoiding this. Seems like the only rough spot. So if he kicks us, we're gonna have to go all the way back to h7. g5. Okay, doesn't seem like the most scary thing of all time. I'm gonna go ahead and start jumping in on this file here. Feel pretty, I want to say comfortable. We have g5 coming. This is hanging. Threatening here. More than happy to get the queens off. More than happy to trade pieces, frankly. So let's go ahead and do that. I said I was more than happy to trade pieces, so let's trade pieces. And I'm banking on the center initiative being worth something here. The fact that I have a lot of pressure on his backwards pawn. Keep in mind the knight will be coming in. The thing is, will he trade the queen? I'm guessing the answer is yes, because if he doesn't, well, he can. He can avoid the trade, I guess. But you can kind of, maybe his bishop's strong, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm better in this position, but I'm not sure I can conceptualize why. I think if I had to conceptualize a reason, it's because his majority is stunted with this backwards pawn, and my majority is not stunted, although maybe he has a better bishop. Okay, slightly surprised by that decision. Slightly just surprised, but maybe I shouldn't have been. Maybe he just gets an extra tempo here if I play normally. Oh, what do I want to do here? Let's not spend too much time. We're spending too much time. That is the problem. Let's just take the queen. Take the queen. The difficulty now, though, is that our pieces are not as good as they once were. How do I want to develop here? It's difficult. Let's start with the... Not so easy. Not so easy anymore. Let's go knight rook here. If bishop here, then we play rook here. And you can't immediately jump in with the knight to kick our rook. It's we're up at 30 seconds. That's pretty significant. So let's keep that in mind. A relatively even game, I'm guessing. Okay, we're jumping in. I wasn't too concerned about this, but if you ask me why, I'm not sure. Okay. Perhaps I should have been concerned about this. Well, for the time being, maybe we go here. I'm not sure. Let's just go here. I don't know. I've lost track of everything. Somewhat unhappy now. Somewhat unhappy now. I'm thinking rook here. We don't blunder the piece. Seems like a good idea. What about something like check in here? Okay, that's just trading off pieces when I don't really want to trade off pieces. Alright, I'm gonna play a terrible move. And we're way down on time all of a sudden. That's horrible. That's really bad. Guess he's gonna play rook here. We have not done ourselves any favors with these slow moves. But, you know, we're not out of the game yet, quite frankly. Time to go to warp speed. It's warp speed time. Okay, that seems like a mistake. Now I'm quite happy jumping in here. And the fork is coming. And I think we are winning. And literally only because our opponent made a mistake. Positionally, I think we were cooked. But still kind of drawish, to be honest. There's a lot of pieces on, which is his saving grace. But I don't know what he does against this, well, especially while his rook is hanging. Because I take back the check. Key detail. Key detail that is noticeable there. In fact, it's key enough that I want to pre-move it. Check. And he's dead. So we got, I don't know, these type of things happen in these positions. Okay, he seems super dead. Winning all the pawns. What do I want to play here? Let's take like this. And just get all the pawns off, I guess. I don't know. Okay, let's save this pawn. His knight's gonna be running out of squares pretty soon. Okay, his knight's dead. And he has no real way to prevent the passer from promoting. And now I'm just going to blitz out the rest of these moves here. Alright. I'm guessing we had a slight advantage, and then we didn't navigate the middle game correctly. That's my prediction for this analysis. But I'm pretty happy with how the game went, you know. Well, I'm alright with it. At least we didn't lose a ton of rating, and we got a long game for once. Yeah, so this is my opening. Let's do game review. Yeah, the Nc3 Sicilian, when they play like this, man, yeah, okay, I did have side advantage, and then misnavigated that middle game. So let's identify some mistakes here. Yeah, so this is my opening. Right, it didn't want, as I identified in the game, prefers knight f6, which makes sense because sometimes my bishop wants to go to d3 here. I think I only play bishop here if you fianchettos before castling. So I am slightly ahead here, but you know, it doesn't really matter if I don't know how to play it, which I didn't. Interesting that it wants castles first. I guess, okay, the computer's obviously going to think those ideas are terrible, so that makes sense. Queen here did seem a little, it's kind of tangled up my pieces for a little bit. Like, it felt awkward to bring my queen back into the game. But we're still better. It hates that move. But it does like what we did here. See, I thought I was being creative with this, but I think I'm losing the tempo back immediately. I'm not really gaining a tempo here, just because I have to reinvest the tempo with the bishop to save it. So it doesn't seem like as cool of a thing as I thought it was. So obviously it wanted rook here, which makes sense. And then it did want bishop back. I just felt like bishop back couldn't contribute, but now that I look at it, obviously it's going to contribute, because in order to break this down, you have to, the bishops are going to be looking like this through the position. But I still think it's not a good maneuver. But okay, bishop here is a little bit loose, which I can agree with. And maybe this diagonal is not even as effective for defending. Like, what is it staring at in this diagonal? I guess this square. That seems important. I'm not sure I fully conceptualize that, but definitely doesn't prefer this diagonal. But this square for the bishop, not necessarily looking at the diagonal, is not very secure. The only piece protecting it is this, and that's like a knight move away from getting picked off with the queen. So not my favorite. Not my favorite. That's what this rook move the computer wants is indicating. Okay, well, it just wants rook here. And his whole game's building around this break with my bishop hanging, which is interesting, which is what ended up costing us the lead at the very end there, although the time was so low that it didn't really matter. All right, let's investigate. Did not like the decision to trade off queens, although I am still equal here. Still equal. It prefers a5. a5 is just like, these are the type of moves that, like, what am I looking at? I guess I want to play b here. B here. Yes, that's the move I want to play. I want to play b6. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. Once a5. I guess you can't play here yet. So what's my rush to trade everything off? I don't know. What improving moves does my opponent have, I guess, is a more important question. If knight moves, we always have bishop here. Because in the knight, I guess the knight can move here. King takes, bishop takes, or even better yet, bishop takes. So those threats don't really work, so this shouldn't be my immediate play. I should be finding an improving move first. And also, you can kind of see how this rook was not the correct choice. Probably should move the other rook. Because then they swing in like this, and then f4 isn't a problem. Oh, it's still a problem there, but you know what I mean. But our position's still fine here. I like taking the queen. And then we blunder. Yeah, because here we just miss f5. which is, oops, something we have to see. And back in time. Okay, so we're missing f5. I'm guessing, okay, just g6 to prevent f5. A little bit scary letting this bishop in, but maybe that's the cost of my positioning. But anyway, f5 here and our position's lost, simply due to the breakthrough. But his advantage is not so clear yet. At least I don't think it is. And once bishop f6, what did I end up playing? I played bishop f8, which is probably a worse move. And king g1, and he's obviously totally fine, but he only has a minute 25 seconds left, and is his advantage really that good? I think with the pieces on, if he can find like a couple good moves, I think the pressure's gonna just completely obliterate my position, but he blunders the fork, and then he also completely moves his king to the wrong square. If he goes here, then I don't think, like, what do I win if he goes there? Like king here. Now when I go knight here, rook takes, bishop takes d6, rook here, and he's still ahead, but enough pieces have come off at this point to where, and my knight pieces are of enough quality to where his pawn advantage, which is, by the way, just a shitty backwards pass pawn, sorry, the shitty backwards pawn, that the game's relatively even with only a slight advantage. But I think it's interesting, if you're not familiar, like looking at understanding why this position is completely lost for me, like here, versus the position I just showed here. Like, what's the difference between those two positions? It's the quality of my pieces and the fact that more pieces have been trading off. Now, too many trade-offs. Like, if this was a king-pawn endgame and his king was here, like, piece trade-offs aren't necessarily good for the defender. This is an example where they're also not necessarily good for the one attacking either. It's just highly dependent. I think the fact that his backwards pawn is playing a significant role into why piece trade-offs are bad for him. Because I just don't think if he loses his bishop, it's very simple for him to fix his structure, and the damage of his structure with nothing else going on is more than enough compensation for me to survive. I say more than enough. I'm sure the computers against each other would find a way, but anyway, that's my analysis. Just something interesting to look at. But generally, piece exchanges, I think the general rule is that they favor the attacker, and pawn exchanges, the general rule is that they favor the defender. Because the less pawns you have to promote, the less significant change is going to happen in the material. So you end up with like a rook and a knight versus a rook, and that's like, do you know how to win that? I don't know how to win that. I've been playing this game for a long time. I don't know how to win that. Probably should, though. I'm going to look that up eventually. Any day now. Anyway, that was day 38? Yes, 38. Nice. And this has been Journey to 3000. Thank you for all your comments. I will try to answer your questions. To that one guy wondering what opening to play, I've only ever played the Sicilian, so I think with e5, e4, I'm probably rated like 1200. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I don't know. I don't think I'm good with e4, e5. I've never been comfortable. Well, I've never really played it either. When you say you don't like the Sicilian, I mean, the Sicilian has so many different things in it, is the thing. Like, what is the Sicilian? Is it just e4, c5? Like, is this what's uncomfortable? Or there's some move after that that's making you uncomfortable, I'm guessing. It's not just this, because obviously, like, the open Sicilian, do you play e6? Do you play the Taimanov? Have you mapped it out this far? If you have, if you have, I think that's worth looking into. Investigating the reasons why you're uncomfortable, I think, is the room for improvement, or it's the way forward. Like, you should be making yourself uncomfortable in chess. You should be asking the difficult questions of why do I not like these positions, or why do I feel like I'm just getting overrun in a bunch of games. And if you navigate those questions with some thought, even if you're wrong, or even if you're answering it and you're carving out a space that isn't correct, you have something to evaluate your play on. And that's why studying is important in general, because you have a better sense of these evaluations, and you have a better ability to answer these questions, because you can just map it onto what the really, really good players have said. But anyway, enough of this random rant. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.